The image of a dove with an olive branch is a symbol for peace or a truce. Let's make up. The dove has been a symbol of peace for thousands of years. The dove is a symbol of innocence and love. It's a really beautiful bird. This one has a little bit of coloring in it. It's just very beautiful. And it's really been a symbol for thousands of years. So we're going to make one from paper and scrap paper, something called a collage. All right, boys and girls, we are going to create a dove of peace by using some simple materials, drawing materials and coloring materials, a piece of paper, I have a blue piece here, and a piece of white paper. Now I'm only going to need half of this, so I'd like you to save part of the paper for making something else later. So I cut a piece off. I just need to fit my hand on the white paper. Now I'm going to put it on here so you can see a little bit better. So I'm trying to create a bird or a dove, and I'd like to lay my hand down in such a way where this part of my thumb is going to be the bird's head, and my fingers pressed together is going to symbolize the wings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my hand. You might want to ask for some help tracing. I'm going to go carefully around each finger. And you can see, I'm going to fix this up a little bit with my pencil and eraser, that this section could be the head, and this section up here makes a nice set of wings. Now, if you wanted, you could have angled it more out so your wings go out a little bit farther. And what I'd like you to do is you can finish the bottom of the bird and cut out your hand from the white paper. And I'm going to carefully cut around my fingers. I'm not going into the details just yet. I'm kind of circling around them. And I have to turn my paper and be careful. Make sure your helper hand isn't getting in the way of the blade. I'm going to cut that scrap off. If you cut your scrap off early, it makes it easier to turn your paper. And I'm going to go around this way. And here I go. Scrap. Now, I'd like to erase a couple of these little lines. And, whoops, I'd like to cut around my fingers a little bit better so I can see these little fingertips. And these little fingertips are going to symbolize the feathers on the bird of the dove of peace. All right. Now I think I'm ready to glue this down. I don't want to put too much glue on it. Of course I can't find my glue. Here it is. You could have your bird facing this way or this way. I kind of like this. And I'm going to put a little glue on it. Not too much. Make sure I cap this. And here we go. Perfect. All right, boys and girls. I'm just going to color a piece of my scrap paper a little orange because I want to make a little beak for my dove. So I'm going to Add a little orange. You can use a crayon. You can use a marker. I'd like to draw a little triangle for its beak. There's a nice little triangle. Now I'm going to cut it out. I might have made it too tiny. Oh boy, let's see. Oh, it might be a little small, but I kind of like it. If I can get glue on it. Ooh. Here we go. And now I'm going to draw an eye or two, depending on the angle of the bird. Here's one eye, two eyes. I'd like to draw some of the lines for the feathers. This could be the tail feather. Could add a feather on the side too, with some of our scrap paper. Ooh. Here we go. I'm just going to bend it a little bit on the end. And you see I can just add glue to one little piece. And there we go. I'd like to add some feather marks to its wing. So I've got the tail feather. One feather would be on the other side. You wouldn't necessarily see it on this side. And of course I want to add a couple little legs. You could draw the legs on this paper, or you could cut them out and attach them, depending on how you want to draw these. I'm going to try to draw them. It's hard to see on blue paper though. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Their little legs. And then they have these great, kind of like little claws on their feet to hold onto branches. I'd also like to add a branch. And the dove of peace is usually carrying an olive branch from an olive tree. And I know we don't grow olive trees here. In Greece and in warmer climates, they have olive branches and olive trees. Let's see, I think I need a little green. Maybe you have a little green paper. I'm going to color this green, and then I'm going to cut the branch out. Or maybe I'll use a little crayon. And what we're doing here is making a little collage. Oh, I like those two things to mix together. Now I'm going to draw that little olive branch on a tree. And it has these little fun little leaves on it. Well, this might be kind of hard to cut out. We'll see. If you have a hard time cutting it, just cut around it. So I'm going to cut this off again because I like to use all the scraps, or as much as I can. Now I'm going to sort of cut around carefully my olive branch for my dove of peace. And here we go. Be careful. You can always draw it on the paper instead of cutting out, but I'm really trying to add a little bit of paper on here. Well, here she goes. She can hold it in her beak. I might have to lift this up a little bit. Here we go. And there's my dove holding an olive branch. I better add some glue. Turn it around. And this is how we make collage. By adding pieces of paper. I really want this bird to sit on a branch. There we go. And I have this scrap that I could add and make brown. So here we go. This might be perfect for a branch. I think this marker is almost out. Could take a little green in it. Or maybe I should have grabbed another brown. Now I think I'm just going to cut a little rectangle out. Really, there's no wrong way to cut a branch. They grow all sorts of different ways and directions. Let's see if I can have it sitting on here. I think I'm going to cut this end off. I don't know, that looks like a foot. I know, maybe if I split this in half, it'll work better. I might have to redraw my feet. Yep, but I like how this is looking. So I'm going to glue this down again, so I flip it over, add the glue to the back, not to the big piece of paper. And I'm really going to have to build up my branch and redraw my feet because they got covered up. That's okay. I'm going to cut this end off. And maybe I can put it here. There we go. I need more branch. Or you could have it flying. It doesn't necessarily have to sit on a branch. I want more. So I'm going to go back, color in some more. I need that marker that I tossed out. Here it is. And then I can cut it again and attach it. Oops. I think I'm going to cut a little piece out of this branch. So it's a little bit on the skinnier side. Here we go. And maybe I'll go up.
Hello?
Oh, I'm recording. All right. So now that I have the branch and the bird and the wing and the dove and the olive branch, I could add some fun little additional details. Of course you can. The sun, clouds, little bugs, little butterflies. You decide. You guys always have the best ideas. Thank you, boys and girls. Here's the dove of peace with an olive branch. I'm ending with this simple, beautiful drawing by Picasso.